Oh, we're live. What's up, everyone? Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we are here, Dog Behavior Q&A, episode 110. Reginald's getting ready for bed, so he may be a little crabby. Yeah? But anyway, we're here to answer your questions until about 8 p.m. We do this every Wednesday. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't be anxious about doing it because your questions will be helping out, could be helping out other people who may be going through the same things. So if you have a question, please feel free to ask. All right? Huh? Okay. All right, let's answer some questions. Let's see. Okay. Excuse me. I have a Dutch Shepherd who is almost 10 months old and he gets like super jealous of my fiance and his daughter when they are goofing around. She will be like screaming and laughing, and our Dutch Shepherd will sit there and whine, sometimes nip at her. All his focus will be on her when they are playing. He isn't fixed yet either. He also doesn't like when people try and pet him that he doesn't know. He will try and nip at them or growl and back up. Okay, there wasn't really a question in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you some advice when it comes to that Dutch Shepherd and jealousy. So, if you have a dog who is not accepting others and feels free to do bad behavior when it comes to inside the house, what that tells me right away is getting tired. Mm, getting tired. What that tells me is that the dog's cup is full, basically. And so, what you have to do is keep the dog in some way humble. All right. If the dog is acting out when it comes to strangers, that means it's not being humble enough to want to accept the attention of strangers, which also says that the dog gets way too much attention from its owners. If it's only 10 months, then it's young. And yes, the Dutch Shepherds will require a lot of exercise because they're high energy dogs. And they're also controlling by nature because they're shepherds. But what you want to do is start building an autonomous relationship with the dog so the dog, again, starts to accept um, others or strangers or other situations. Because right now, the dog's just acting like a big brat. All right? It says, I don't have to be pet by anybody. And if I don't like a certain situation, I can go ahead and try and control it. Which means you guys have to start to take more control over that dog. And again, also build a more independent relationship between the dog and the family. So the dog's cup is full, like I said, which means way too much attention, way too much catering to the dog, to where the dog feels free to act sassy in those situations. All right, you ready to go? Okay, you go. Say bye bye to everyone. Say bye bye. Wave bye bye. Wave bye bye. All right, go to mommy. So that's that. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another one. All right, next question. We'll bring up the live questions and we'll answer them first, just because they're live, and then we'll answer everyone else's question. All right, next question. Bringing an adult dog with no leash experience home from the shelter. I adopted an Australian cattle dog, mutt mix, on Saturday, and have been giving her time to settle in and get out of her shell because she was pretty quiet and reserved when she first came home. I take her for walks several times a day with a flat buckle collar leash combo. If I have only had her since last Saturday, and she's still getting used to the rules, such as not rushing the door, no jumping, etc., would it be too much to introduce a prong collar as well? She's very interested in dogs we walk past. She focuses in on them, and I think she hasn't decided if she wants to be defensive or not yet. And I'd like to completely correct it with a prong collar instead of a buckle collar because the buckle collar really isn't useful. Prong collar on a new dog shortly after acquiring the dog. Okay to do? I'm guessing yes. Yes, it is okay to do. Listen, when I bring dogs in and I have only 3 weeks with them, the first thing I do is put a prong collar on them because they're so used to pulling their owners around, getting what they want. And then, as a result of doing that, they get to feel and act how they want when it comes to other dogs or people on leash. So it's very important that you start with a secure, trusting relationship. And the best way to do that is to add that structure. And the prong collar will help achieve that structure and trust that you want. So yes, it is okay. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay, let me plug my phone in so it doesn't die on you guys. All right. Let's see. Let's answer some questions live. Okay, Stacy asks, do you have any YouTube videos on how to introduce a new puppy to an adult dog? If so, do you know what number? I don't have a video specifically on a puppy uh, to a new dog, but I will say I do have videos on when it comes to other dogs and you can take that same protocol and apply it. So I have plenty of videos. They're pretty long on a step-by-step sort of progression on how to introduce a puppy to a new dog. So in addition to that, I'll give you a little bit of an explanation of how we did it. So depending on, know your dogs. If they're dogs that are kind of feisty, if you have dogs who need more space than not, then take a while and always have a leash on the new dog, on the new puppy, so that you can take the pressure off. Because, to avoid any possible injury, right? Some new dogs, some older dogs will teach a new puppy by hurting them, and sometimes that's not right. So to avoid that, to avoid any kind of any hurt, go ahead and put a leash on the dog and be able to control the puppy's playful nature, the playful unwanted pressure sometimes that they will apply to adult dogs. That's pretty much it. I mean, again, in addition to those YouTube videos, you just have to know when enough is enough. If your dog doesn't seem like it's wanting the attention from the new puppy, then it is your responsibility to step in, grab the puppy's leash, and give your older dogs a break from the puppy's pressure. All right, but the slower the better. I would always supervise. Don't leave them supervised for a good 2 weeks. And again, this is just my way of avoiding any sort of, starting on the wrong foot of things, because you don't want to go ahead and let that puppy do what it wants, and then your older dogs do injure the dog, and the relationship would be damaged right away. Not to say that they can't reconcile that relationship quickly, because some dogs can, but some dogs can't. And so, just be attentive, and also you will have to, sort of leave your older dogs, or let your older dogs be themselves around the puppy. And so the puppy also does learn how to, from the older dogs, stop being, pushy. But that's normally what happens. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Alrighty then. Next question. Let's see. Okay, I know you have talked about bringing a new dog into a home. No, I didn't get that other dog. But am wondering if the resident dog goes to correct the new dog from doing something, should you allow the correction? Example, new dog wants to be by you, and resident dog snaps or growls. Should that growl be allowed or corrected by you? That growl, in particular, in that situation, should 100% be corrected by you. You don't want. It's like having kids and one kid slaps the other. You're going to correct it, even if the other kid just mouths off to the other kid. It's not allowed. Shouldn't be allowed. And so that's sort of the same thing. You're going to really play into that jealousy if you allow that to happen. And again, that's when fights occur. The majority of fights that happen when it comes to dogs living with each other is a result of jealousy. And you want to be able to have the ability to pet one dog at a time. And that's not as easy as it seems, but it should be a goal for all people out there, especially if your dog is having, if your pack are having fights within the pack. Okay, so you want to be able to pet one dog at a time, and if the other dog comes up, shoo them away. Just be like, go away. You know what I mean? Um, but in order, if you have a new dog and you're wanting them to integrate into your pack the best way is not to pet that dog. You want the dog to sort of be open to that affection and that playfulness with your pack and not you, because sometimes that can be separate. All right, you want to be able to have a cohesive pack before the dog really bonds with you too. So most important thing is to get them to coexist very well, and in order to do that, you can't necessarily have um, um, be that dog's outlet for all the affection. Allow the pack to be um, that source of affection as well. Hope that makes sense. Thanks for your question as always. Feel free to ask another. All right, we're working through some dog reactivity with the e-collar. My dog has been doing amazing. But now, when the dog is behind us or already past us, sometimes she will turn around and fixate/whimper. She blows off corrections and will continue to fixate until the dog is out of sight. Am I correcting too late? Do I give her a higher level correction? I would say both. Yes, you may be correcting too late, and you may have to correct at a higher level. I would say no fixated eye contact whatsoever. No perked up ears whatsoever should go without some sort of correction and the appropriate correction. The appropriate correction is the correction that will actually get the dog back in tune with you. And so you determine the level, she determines the level actually, and you adjust to what she determines as the appropriate level. But also be proactive with her thought process. As soon as she looks, as soon as those ears go up, as soon as that tail goes up, then you want to intervene right then and there. And don't be afraid to set your e-collar. You can also set your e-collar as preset to that red button to be 10 levels higher or 20 levels higher. And so that may be something that you may want to think about. Okay, so if it's at 20 with the black button, right, the black S button, you can preset it so that red button go up to 10 instead of 5, because default is 5. You want to go up to 10 because 5 may not be enough. Go up to 10 and get that dog to be healing with you. Okay, so the dog should be walking with you. That's the goal. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay, we got some questions. YouTube. Hi, Anna. Placed my mom's dog with a foster
that's likely adopt after we moved mom into a facility due to dementia. Mom was not letting Nina out to use the bathroom. She was going in the basement. Now Nina is going to the bathroom in the fosters slash adopters and home outside. Nina has always very Nina has always a very fearful dog, afraid of people. I suggested they crate Nina, except to go outside to use the bathroom and slowly give her more time out of the crate as she goes to the bathroom. Is that what you would suggest? Yes, that is correct. I am still using what I learned from you with Lexi and other dogs in the house, and I continue to recommend you to people on a regular basis and did again this week. I appreciate you. Thank you. Nina seemed to come out of her shell, some in the new home when she had two other dogs to be with. Nina is let out with the other dogs and does not go to the bathroom outside. You're welcome. If I have a dog that has trouble going to the bathroom outside, and I don't see them physically going outside, then I'm going to put them right back into the crate, into the house, and give it another 15 to 20 minutes to let them back outside. All right. So if you're having trouble with potty training, do not let your dog free roam the house. That would be a mistake, because the dog then will feel free to pee in the house when it wants. But you can also, correct the dog for doing so. That's okay. Um, give them a stern talking. That's fine. But don't let the dog free roam the house um, if it hasn't gone to the bathroom outside. All right, next question. My gut tells me to correct the resident dog in the situation. Yes, that is correct. All right. Hello, Jeremy. Hi, Katie. How are you? We need to come see you. Our Winnie, teddy bear dog, 2 years old, has anxiety around certain people, especially other kids, never towards our kiddos. She has been, she has gone to bite in some cases. Yeah, that means you need to see me. Uh, if you have a dog that is nipping at children, then what we have to do in that situation is try to control the situation as best as possible. It's something about strange kids that the dog doesn't know, that the dog doesn't is not comfortable with. And kids can sort of be unpredictable. They can sort of have they can be unaware of the pressure that they're putting on dogs. They can't really read dogs as well as adults can, and sometimes that makes dogs nervous. Um, and so, what we have to do, our goal would be, is to get the dog to really respect the fact that, or no, first and foremost, we have to show the dog that we can control the situation. We should not just allow kids to just come up to the dog, or vice versa. The dog should not have free roam to where the dog can come up, go right up to kids. We have to control the situation. So we have to put the leash on the dog, control the dog, and then we have to be able to say to the kids, no, this dog doesn't like that, back off. That's what the dog needs to see from us. All right? And then, if the dog is and has the ability to get along with kids, then um, the dog will certainly be open and willing to accept strange kids with the right amount of time and the right amount of control. But that's what has to happen. The dog has got to see from us that kids can actually be controlled so that the dog doesn't feel like they have to. Because that's what the dog is doing. The dog said, I need to go control that situation because I don't feel comfortable with this situation. And the adults aren't taking control, so I'm going to. That's it in a nutshell. All right? Thanks for your question. All right, we have been kindling when people come over, but doesn't seem to help. Well,
when you kennel, here's the deal. When you kennel, the dog has got to also be able to listen in the kennel. Dog just can't do it at once in the kennel. Okay, because kenneling is one thing, but what's the dog doing when you decide to kennel the dog? The dog should always be laying down or sitting down in the kennel. No barking, no whining, no standing up, no turning around, no scratching at the crate, no anxious behavior whatsoever. Should be a place of relaxation. And that's a good approach. If you can get the dog to relax in the kennel for at least 5 to 10 minutes, then the dog can come out and then greet the strangers or whatever it may be. But also, you should never be in a rush to get
That dog to accept.
everything. Take some time. It will take some time, but the fast track way is going to be under our control, like I've already mentioned.
So, there you go. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Okay, let me make sure I got them all live.
Trudy says, "Good evening. Nice to see you walking your baby the other day. What do I go under YouTube video for your stuff, please? I came in a little late on your puppy intro to another dog. And how do I stop my puppy from stealing toys from the other pooch?" Well, I think that's going to have to actually that's actually going to be up to your other pooch. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to, and maybe a little borderline unfair to stop your puppy from wanting to steal toys from the other dogs. You know, the other dogs have got to say, "Hey, I don't want you doing that." If they accept it, then they accept it. You know, and that's again going to be borderline a little too much to ask from a puppy that's not getting information from the adults on what to do in that situation. If the adults say it's okay, then it may be okay. And if they say it's not okay, then they will let the dog know. Certainly, the puppy know. But the introduction video is all my videos are under Majors Academy, Dog Training and Rehabilitation, and it's under the Do It Yourself playlist, so you can find all of my videos there.
All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Crate training. Did I miss that?
Crate training. Why would you ask about crate training? Oh, did you get another dog?
I'll briefly go over crate training.
So, crate training involves not only teaching the dog to pee and poop outside the house, but also teaching the dog patience and calmness. The crate should represent all of that. The crate should represent calmness, quietness, and patience. Okay, patience in the sense where you can open up the door and the dog doesn't burst out. That's patience. Or you set the food down in the crate and the dog sit and wait for you to back off or say okay in order to take food. That's respectful. That's respectful patience. And then the other thing is calmness in the crate. So I don't want any barking, whining, scratching, chewing, or anything like that in the crate. And in order to do that, you must. I'm going to lose my mind. In order to do, my doodle keeps being in a crate. Oh my god. In order to do that, you must watch them in the crate, okay? And make sure you can go ahead and intervene or be there for them the moments they start to get anxious in the crate. Okay, because they're gonna want to try and see how to get out of the crate. They may try and get your attention somehow. Barking, whining, scratching, looking you in the eye with their puppy eyes. But if their needs are met, then there's no excuse
for them to do anything other than relax in the crate. Make sure their needs are met. They're fed, they're pottied, they're exercised. Not much outside of that. Okay, so that's what I talk about. That's what crate training, in my opinion, all involves, is those things. My doodle keeps peeing in the crate. Is the crate small enough for the doodle to get away from the crate? And how young is your doodle? And is there water in the crate? Let me know all of that. I need to know some details. All right, next question. I have a 2-year-old pit mix that charges/lunges at the TV when a dog or an animal is on the screen. When she is in public places, when she is in public and meets a new person or dog, she becomes very submissive and hunches down and crawls to them with her wiggle butt to greet them. Any pointers on how to correct her while watching TV? Thank you. Yes, watch my video on YouTube called Go to Your Bed, or the place command. This is going to be very important for you. It will teach your dog to control its impulse when it comes to watching the TV and having to want to charge the TV. The place command. Okay, I'm going to leave a link below your question to that video so that you can have it there. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. All right, next question. Oh my, Chris says, the snow is almost gone and now the dogs are eating dirt. What is with that? They are not starving. LOL. I think they're eating rabbit poop. It's normal. My dogs do the same thing. They're just eating leftover whatever. Doesn't matter. Just as long as they're, not puking or having diarrhea or don't look uncomfortable, and as long as they're eating and drinking, have at it. That's my opinion. All right, thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. 11 weeks, no water in the crate. 11 weeks! That's a little young, but just needs to be trained on how to own a dog. 11 weeks. Keep with it. Shoot, if you have a dog that young, they're going to need to go out often. Especially every time after they eat. Is it a female? Because sometimes females can either go a lot more or a lot less than males as far as their frequency goes. So yeah. You got 11-week-old doodle to get along with Tide. All right, next question. Can you touch on large dogs preying on smaller dogs? That's a problem with mine as well. They chase and torment little dogs like prey. Well, I would say if that's an issue, it doesn't matter about, well, it does matter about the size, but more importantly, it matters how well they listen to you in that situation. Because dogs need to learn how to control their impulses when it comes to anything, for that matter. There's plenty of dogs that want to go after squirrels. There's plenty of dogs that want to go after deer. There's plenty of dogs that want to go after cats. There's plenty of dogs that want to go after mice. But if it's obsessive and it's out of control and it is problematic for you, then you just have to intervene in that situation and make sure that they can
listen to you. They may, as a result of listening to you over and over again, they may lose the need to actually do that. And so
It's all about being there, knowing,
and learning what triggers them and what their impulses is, and then
start to intervene once you know exactly what's going on. You have to just be there
for them in that moment.
So you have to sort of just
Sort of prepare yourself for that situation. For example,
if you know your dog is uncomfortable around squirrels and you're on a walk, and 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 the dog sees a squirrel, then you have to be proactive about correcting that dog when the dog actually sees a squirrel before it gets too amped up or close
or has the ability
to chase the squirrel. There are some dogs that I know that actually get squirrels. He's actually super sweet with her. Well, I know Tide is very social, so I'm happy for you guys. I hope it works out. And tell Tide I said go to your bed. All right, next question. Okay. Let's see. What's the best way to walk dogs or multiple dogs at the same time? Both on one side or each other on opposite side? Well, I would say I think it's easier to walk them one on each side. So if you have two dogs, then one on your right and one on your left.
for now. And until you can maybe get them in a better place on your walk, that's what I would start with.
Excuse me. But I'm coming from a place that I have to have them on both sides because dogs don't know each other. But if your dogs know each other and they may calm each other down, then it may be advisable that they walk on the same side. But if you have a situation where some people have where one dog actually gets the other dog to be worse on the walk behavior wise, then the opposite side may be the remedy for you. So it just depends. I'd have to know your dogs to be able to give you a little bit better direction. All right. Thanks for your question. Okay, next question. You guys
who are watching live, feel free to ask any question that you like, and remember that it will help someone somewhere that may be going through the same thing that you're going through with your dog. So no matter how
crazy it may seem, please go ahead and ask. All right, we got a question from Steve.
My dog will steal random objects and guard them. For example, she'll steal a water bowl off the coffee table,
then take it to a corner and guard it. Also, if shoes aren't left
near the door, she will guard those too.
I can get her to give them up by trading her for a treat,
but without a treat, I'll get bit. I feel like trading for a treat is kind of rewarding her for it.
She won't do it, and she won't do any of it when she has her collar on. Okay, well, if she doesn't do it at all when she has her collar on, what do you mean? What kind of collar are you talking about? But so I just had a Rottweiler that I had to train how to not be resource aggressive, and the thing that I taught the dog was the out command, and most people know it as the leave it or drop it command.
But when I teach the dog out, I want the dog to back away also. So I want them to drop whatever they're having in their mouth, and I also want them to back away. And in order to do that, they must respect your body pressure, which means when I come up to the treat, when I come up to the thing that you're guarding, I don't want you to be there. I want you to actually walk away. So if I come up and try and grab your whatever it is, I don't want you to stay there and try and guard it. I want you to go away. And in order to achieve that, you may need some sort of adversive tool in order to achieve that. Okay, but for the moment, cheers, B. For the moment, you know, don't reach in there with your hand. Don't reach in there with something that the dog can actually do damage with. Get a broom. It's a cheap version of the e-collar. Yeah, well, that would work. But if it's just working with the e-collar on, then you must pair it. You must layer it with your voice, right? That's why that out command is very important. You must use that in conjunction with another layer that's always there. And what's always there? Your voice. So when you touch her with that e-collar, you should say out or back or whatever you want to say. But in order to get the dog to not become what they call collar smart, then you must add a layer via voice in that situation. So say drop it, leave it, out, and if it doesn't, then it gets the e-collar. But the goal should be to get the dog to listen to your voice without using any tools. Okay? It's got to be there with the e-collar stimulation. All right? Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Can you show the video of out command? Is there one on YouTube? Yes, there is. There is a very old one, but there are plenty of ones where I do bite work with a lot of dogs, and the out command is there. I don't know if I have a step-by-step teaching the out command per se, but I know I've talked a lot about it. So I'll talk about it briefly here so that you can get an idea. But when you're teaching the out command, here's the best way to do it, especially if you have a dog that tugs, that does any sort of tug of war or anything like that. When you want to teach resource aggression, when you want to improve resource aggression, you want to start with something that's a little less valuable, that the dog won't necessarily bite you for. That'd be good. And so maybe start with a tug toy, any sort of toy, right? And teach the dog out. Now, depending on how your dog respects you, the level at which it respects you, this approach is going to work good or not. And if it doesn't work good, then I suggest you work on it until it's good. But the best way to teach a dog out is to practice what they call dead prey. And dead prey is having that thing that they like to tug, put it in your hand, and then once you want the dog to learn the out command, then you stop moving. You would put the toy or the tug thing, brace it up against your body like this, so you have it here, brace it up against your knees, hold it as stiff as possible. That's why they call it dead prey, because dead things don't move. So don't let it move, and then you will see the dog's mouth go like this. It'll just back off. Again, depending on how respectful the dog is to you, the quicker that will become. But if the dog is not as respectful to you, it'll just continue to try and tug. It may do that. But you don't even have to say the word out, but to get the dog to back off. But if you stop moving, if you ever notice, if you watch a pack of wolves or even a pack of dogs, and the one dog has a resource that they don't want the other dogs to have, or the other wolves to have, they're staying right here and they're not moving, just like this. And maybe looking and growling like that, right? But they're not moving. Same thing, same approach with you. Don't let it move, and let the dog go like this. Back off. And then you can tell the dog to sit and give it to him again if you like. But that would be how I would start to begin to teach the out command. And you can also
teach the dog to out-command with food or anything like that. But I'm going to be making a video soon about how to do that. Because again, I just had to teach a Rottweiler the out-command and how to back off to things. Rottweilers are definitely resource aggressive. So, that's that. Thanks for your question. Okay, let me make sure I didn't miss any questions. Will neutering your dog help reduce aggressive behaviors? I see lots of people suggesting that as one of the solutions when a male dog fights other dogs. In my opinion, no. You know, everyone wants us to suggest all these solutions except the best one. And the best one would be how well the dog is listening to you. That's the best one. Because no matter if the dog has their genitals or not, doesn't matter how well the dog is listening. I've never recommended or required a dog to be neutered before they come to me, because to me it just doesn't matter. It's not that big of a factor. And so I'd rather let them have their balls. Excuse me. I'd rather let them go on as they were born, and not go through that surgery. Okay, it's just my opinion. I've been around a lot of dogs that have that, and it's not been that big of a deal. But thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. All right, here we go. My dog Lucy hates going on walks when we're at home. She loves going on walks and running around when we're not at home. What? But is terrified to leave from home. My dog Lucy hates going on walks when we're at home. She loves going on walks and running around where we're not at home, but is terrified to leave from home. Any suggestions? It's a little confusing, but regardless, I would say I would just make her go on walks when you are home, and show her that walks can be just as good when you guys aren't home. Yeah, sometimes dogs just need to be pushed to help realize what they would like and enjoy and or not mind, like nails, like baths, like swimming, like grooming. A lot of dogs have little, issues with that, but maybe they learn to really enjoy those things. So I would approach that the same way when it comes to your walk. I would make the dog walk, and then for the first maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you may see the dog says, all right, let's do this, this is fun, and go ahead and walk with you at any time. All right, thanks for your question. All right, Maisie question. I'm having her dog walker come by tomorrow for the first time since training. Should I have her in a crate with a muzzle, leash, and all, and have Miranda, the dog walker, just come right into the house and straight to the crate? Maisie normally gets aggressive when trainers get down. Yes, I would go ahead and hand her the e-collar. I would go ahead and allow Miranda to walk up to the crate, say down, stand there for as long as it takes for Maisie to actually go down, stay down, and relax before Maisie gets to come out of that crate. So allow Maisie to calm down, realize that it's Miranda, and also have Maisie listen to Miranda. That's the best way to get Maisie out of the crate, and not until then. I don't care how long it takes. You can even maybe expect Maisie to wag her tail before she comes out. That'd probably be a good indicator that everything's going to be fine. But yeah, have her on all the tools on, all that good stuff, and then have Miranda just walk her, and that would be a good thing. All right. Thank you for your question. All right, you guys, feel free to get your last questions in. I think that's all for all the other social media outlets. Let me double check here, but I'm thinking so. So if you guys have any last burning questions that you would like me to answer, um, please get them in right now. Otherwise, yeah, we'll be done. I don't really have anything else to talk about either. Um, it's been an awesome week. You're welcome. It's been an awesome week. I am in the process of getting some help, trying to help new dogs. Oh, this is important. For all my past clients out there, I'm going to make the announcement tomorrow, but Pack Walk is going down tomorrow, or on Saturday, 9 a.m. If you didn't get the email, let me know. I'll add you to the email list. But I hope to see you all out there with your dogs. And just make sure that you guys keep everyone safe so that everyone can enjoy the first Pack Walk of 2019. Sam's bark is still broken. Still can't get him to bark. LOL. Any suggestions? No, I don't have any suggestions for that. Actually, I could probably help with that. You got to get him somehow frustrated enough. If there's like a ball or a toy or something that he likes so much, then back tie him, right? Put a leash on him and back tie him so he can't get to it. Okay, so you're going to use his frustration to get to what he wants, because he's going to bark if he gets frustrated enough. And then once he barks, you mark that behavior with a treat or some crap. You know what I mean? Best time to call me would be anytime. I don't care. If I don't answer, I'll call you back. But again, they do this with working dogs because barking for working dogs is very important. But you back tie the dog, and then you present them with something that they really want, and they'll bark for it. And when they bark for it, you say speak, or doesn't make him mad at all. He gives up. Hopefully, with this warmer weather, we can get outside and more dry. Or you can bring him by and we can see if we can help you with that. Oh, Sam. You know what gets him to bark? Other dogs. I can guarantee you that. Because he did it here. So, we may have to, if you want to bring him by, we can get him, back tie him and have some other dogs. I think he was barking. If he wasn't barking, he was super excited. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get off here. But thank you guys for your questions and watching. We'll be back next Thursday, same time, same day. And please feel free to tune in and or ask questions. But give me a thumbs up, please, if you liked it. And don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube. We really appreciate it. Like this video. And we'll see you next time.